Hello guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another episode of Win, Lose or Draw. It's episode 4, so let's crack straight into our championship predictions for this weekend. And as always guys, we have to start by looking back at how we got on last weekend, and it wasn't a very good weekend for any of us, but in particular me. I only got 3 right, including Swansea and a couple of others. You guys on Twitter did much better. You got 4 right, extending your lead at the top. Meanwhile, Bueno, she matched me, so she got 3 points, and if we look at the total scoreboard so far, those 3 points mean she stays ahead of me, yet my puppy is beating me at championship predictions. Maybe this should be her YouTube channel instead of mine. She's on 12 points, I'm on 11. You guys extended your lead at the top to 14 points, so let's get into these predictions and see if I can claw back some pride and some ground. And we start on Friday night with my team Coventry taking on AFC Bournemouth live on Sky. It's going to be a tough one for Cov, I think. Bournemouth did well to beat Norwich 1-0 last time out, looking quite fluid in their 3-5-1-1 system, 3-5-2 system. I like the look of Dominic Solanke up front. I think he's going to score a lot of goals at this level, and the likes of Adam Smith and Jack Stacey at wing back, they're really good at this level as well. In the championship, they're proving themselves to have one of the best squads so far, unbeaten so far, so it's going to be a tough test for Cov, who drew 0-0 at Barnsley last time out. I paid 10 quid to watch it on iFollow. Felt like a bit of a waste of money, to be honest. There wasn't much action. We hit the bar, but probably a draw was a fair result. So I'm going to have to back Bournemouth to win this one. Head over heart for sure. And you guys agree with me. A hefty majority of you think Bournemouth will beat Coventry on Friday night. From Friday night to Saturday lunchtime, it's Norwich versus Derby, and there's a few question marks about this Norwich squad at the moment due to the transfer speculation surrounding a few of their players. Todd Cantwell and Emi Buendia, in fact, left out of the matchday squad by Daniel Farke last weekend. He was critical of both of them and their attitudes. Meanwhile, Max Aarons, he was in the squad, but he could be off to anyone really. Bayern Munich, Roma, Barcelona, AC Milan, all linked with signing the English right back. It's going to be tricky to see what kind of squad turns up for them this weekend. Meanwhile, Derby, they need somebody to turn up for them, don't they? No points on the board so far from their opening 3 games, really struggling. Hammered 4-0 by Blackburn Rovers at home last weekend. They need a response from that, but they've conceded 8 goals in their first 3 games. The defence is looking shaky. Their midfield and attack isn't looking much better either. So I'm going for a Norwich win despite the transfer speculation around a few of the players. And you guys agree with me pretty heavily. 80% of you think Norwich will beat Derby on Saturday. Nottingham Forest versus Bristol City now, and Forest really in trouble, just like their East Midlands neighbours. No points on the board, and they're yet to even score a goal. That 1-0 defeat against Huddersfield, where Lamucci made 7 or 8 changes, I think it was, and they had no response whatsoever. He's got a big squad to keep happy there as well, and if he loses this one, he could be in serious trouble of losing his job. Meanwhile, Bristol City and Dean Holden, that's the other side of the coin completely, isn't it? 3 wins out of 3. He's hit the ground running. They're now pairing Chris Martin and Naki Wells up front together. It's working really nicely. They've got players coming back from injury. It's looking really good for Bristol City, so unsurprisingly, I'm backing them to beat this woeful Forest side at the moment, and 70% of you agree with me. On to Sheffield Wednesday QPR. Sheffield Wednesday clawing back that 12-point deficit already, back to -8 here. They did lose to Bristol City last weekend, but Bristol City are a good side. I've just mentioned that. They've signed Callum Patterson from Cardiff this weekend. He should really strengthen them as well. So they've got a few good players in that squad now, and they're looking good, looking to close the gap on the likes of Forest, Derby and Wycombe at the bottom there. So QPR, meanwhile, 1-1 against Middlesbrough last time out. Isai Samuel off the mark there. Lyndon Downs again causing problems. He's looking good in front of goal, so it's a tough one to call this one. Many people would probably back Wednesday to get a win, but I'm going to sit on the fence and go for a draw. There were a lot of draws last weekend, so I'm trying to learn from that. Meanwhile, you guys think Sheffield Wednesday will close the gap even further, get down to -5. 64% of you think Wednesday will win. Luton versus Wycombe up next, and Luton looked all right against Watford, but Nathan Jones wasn't happy with them as they lost 1-0. It wasn't an exciting game. He said it didn't feel like a derby. His players didn't have enough passion, so I'm expecting a bit of a response here, and they should get a response against Wycombe, who lost 2-0 to Swansea. 3 defeats out of 3 for them. Not looking great, not looking like they can compete at this level, if I'm brutally honest. So unsurprisingly, I'm going for a Luton win here, and you guys agree with me. 73% of you think Luton will beat Wycombe. On to Blackburn versus Cardiff, and what can you say about this Blackburn team? The first team to score 11 goals in their opening 3 championship games this millennium. That's how good in front of goal they've been. Beat Derby 4-0 the week before. They beat Wycombe 5-0. Adam Armstrong playing centrally is on absolute fire. They were my team of the week this weekend after beating Derby, and they're just looking absolutely exceptional under Tony Mowbray. Meanwhile, Cardiff lost 2-1 at home to Reading. Looked a bit short in that game. Bit of a poor performance, but it was against a good side. Now for this one, I've sat on the fence yet again just because I don't think Blackburn can keep this goal scoring form up, and they have played two of the poorer out of form sides in the division. I think Cardiff will bounce back a bit from that game against Reading, so I'm backing a draw in this game. You guys disagree. You think Blackburn will keep on scoring and keep on winning. 66% of you think Blackburn will beat Cardiff. On to Borough versus Barnsley now. And Borough have had two back-to-back 1-1 draws against Bournemouth and QPR. Obviously, Chuba Akpom got off the mark, making his debut, marking it with a goal last time out. Meanwhile, Barnsley, that 0-0 against Coventry, they just can't score, can they? Connor Chaplin's struggling, Corley Woodrow as well. They're both struggling. They just can't get things going in the final third. They didn't really look like scoring against Coventry, even though they had a bit of pressure. And for that reason, I'm backing Borough to beat Barnsley. You guys disagree with me. Think Gerhard Struber, if he's still there, can get the job done against Middlesbrough here. 43% of you think Barnsley will get an away win. Rotherham versus Huddersfield now, and you just get the feeling this could be a big game come the end of the season. Down at the bottom, I think both teams will be. Rotherham performed really well against Birmingham away last time. Probably should have won that game. Drew 1-1 in the end after giving away that very last second penalty, which was converted by the Blues. Meanwhile, Huddersfield got the win over Nottingham Forest on Friday night, and it's so important for Corberan to get off the mark, get up and running. Watched by Marcelo Bielsa he was, and he got the job done, got 3 points against a poor Forest side. This one, I'm predicting a lot of draws this week, it seems. I'm going for a draw, can't call this one. Probably low scoring this one for me. Meanwhile, you guys think Rotherham will get the home win. 44% of you think they'll beat Huddersfield. The game of the weekend for me in the Championship is Reading versus Watford. Reading 3 out of 3, absolutely flying under Pawanovic at the moment. Beat Cardiff, as I just mentioned, 2-1. Lucas Shaw looks to find his feet in front of goal. Meanwhile, Andy Rina-Hotta looks really key in midfield for them. He's doing well, holding the team together. Meanwhile, Watford got that 1-0 win over Luton. Wasn't the best performance, but João Pedro was on the score sheet and got all 3 points for them. They're looking all right, aren't they? Both teams unbeaten heading into this one. I don't think it'll stay that way. They're really hard to call. Which João will come on top, I'm not too sure. I'm backing João Pedro and Watford for this one, getting the away win, getting the job done, and ending Reading's winning start. 45% of you agree with me on this one as well. I think Watford will beat Reading. Swansea versus Millwall now, both sides unbeaten heading into this one. Swansea 7 points from 9, looking good. A simple win over Wycombe last time out. Are you on the score sheet? Millwall, meanwhile, a great point at home to Brentford. Jed Wallace is so key for them. He was on the score sheet, and they're looking good at the back, aren't they? They've only conceded 1 goal, and that was to Brentford last time out. So for that reason, I'm going for a low scoring draw in this one as well. I'm sitting on the fence, so many draws. Meanwhile, you guys, Swansea, you think will win. 45% of you think they'll beat Millwall. Brentford versus Preston now, and Ivan Toney got up and running for his new side. The first team to score against Millwall, it was from the penalty spot, of course, but they're looking okay. They're getting going. The likes of Ben Rama are still there as the transfer window begins to tick to a halt. We'll see if he remains to the end of the season. It'll be massive for Brentford if he stays. Meanwhile, Preston, tough to judge them at the moment because of such a tough fixture list they were handed. Swansea they lost, Norwich they drew and played pretty well, and they lost to Stoke last time out, but Barkhausen was sent off and they were pretty unlucky with that. So really tough to call this one. I think Preston have been unlucky, but I'm still backing Brentford to beat them this weekend, and you guys, 66% of you agree with. And finally, we finish with Stoke versus Birmingham City. Lee Gregory getting that goal against Preston to secure all 3 points for Michael O'Neill and get them up and running, but they were lucky to be playing against 10 men, as I just mentioned in that game. Meanwhile, Birmingham, they did well to get a last-minute penalty against Rotherham, but they would have been wanting more from that game and didn't perform well. Ita Krankel will be looking for a response from them in this game, relying on that good defence once again. I don't think they're going to get anything though. I'm backing Stoke and Michael O'Neill to win this one, and you guys disagree with me. 48% of you think Birmingham will get an away win at Stoke. So you've heard my predictions, we've heard your predictions, which means there's only one person left to talk to. Let's hear what Bueno's got to say. Okay guys, for some reason the live recording didn't work, so I'm here post-comming this, and Bournemouth Coventry, sorry I got them the wrong way around. Here, Coventry are at home or playing in Birmingham. Bueno taking her time. Who will she pick? She has gone for Coventry. She knows where her bread's buttered. She knows she's a good dog. And we move on to Norwich Derby. She's actually gone for Derby there, an away win. They certainly need the points. Forest versus Bristol City. You'd expect Lamucci to struggle again, and that could get him the sack. Bueno, Bristol City to win. Moving on to Sheffield Wednesday QPR. Very quickly she's gone for QPR to put halt to Sheffield Wednesday's progress. A bit of a yawn at the start of this one before she approaches and goes for a Wycombe win. That'll be huge for Gareth Ainsworth and his side. Here we go for Blackburn, Cardiff. She's gone for Cardiff. Yet another away win. Bueno enjoying the visiting sides at the moment. Borough versus Barnsley. She goes for Barnsley. She loves the away sides today. That'll be huge for Struber and his team. Finishing off the rice there. Delicious. On to Rotherham, Huddersfield. She goes for Huddersfield. An away win. That'll be 2 in a row for Corberan. And she goes for Watford to beat Reading in the big game of the weekend, putting an end to Reading's winning run. Swansea, Millwall. She goes for Millwall. Yet another away win. When will they stop? And it's Preston to beat Brentford. Another away win. I cannot believe what I'm seeing here. And we finish with Stoke to beat Birmingham. Finally, she goes for a home win to finish off with. Thanks for that, Bueno. You've done an excellent job as usual. Wow, Bueno, how many away wins were involved in that? Sorry about the Bournemouth Coventry one, by the way. We got them mixed up. I thought Bournemouth were at home for some reason. They're not, but she's still picked Coventry, so we're going to stick with that on here. So all that's left to do is look at the complete results table, and this is going to be a mental week for the series. I think such a big week because we've got so many contrasting picks, haven't we? I think Norwich we've agreed on. There's a few others we've massively disagreed on, though. Birmingham in particular, if they get a win, that'll be huge. Meanwhile, Bueno, I mean, how many away wins are we going to get this weekend? If it's more than 5, she's going to be in absolute business, isn't she? And that is reflected in the odds. Let's have a look at them. Always exciting to look at. I'm at 40,000-ish to 1. That's pretty high, to be honest, given I've made my picks. You guys, half that, 20,000 to 1. Pretty impressive, pretty low. You should be onto a winner with that one. But if you fancy making a couple of million quid this weekend, take a look at Bueno's picks. Absolutely sensational. 2 million to 1. If they come off, she will be an absolute genius and she'll probably win this series. She's doing all right so far. She's beating me. I need to make up some ground this weekend. But for now, guys, please like and subscribe as always if you enjoyed this series. Comment down below your predictions for this weekend. But for now, that is it, and I will see you on the next one.